only shortly after making steps towards a more free and democratic country. Myanmar has been plagued with sectarian violence. Rakhine State has been devastated by violence. Houses have been set on fire. Thousands have been forced to flee the country. They call their home their entire lives. Religious violence was touched off on June 3rd when a Buddhist mob killed 10 Muslims in revenge for the rape and murder of a local woman. Now the two groups, which have lived side by side for centuries, are caught up in a murderous row that has left dozens dead and even more wounded. Refugees from this conflict have found very little shelter, as neither boarding Bangladesh or Myanmar claim them as citizens. Tuesday, Bangladesh turned away 3 ships carrying over 1,000 Muslim refugees fleeing the violence. The two countries are separated only by a river that flows into the Bay of Bengal. Following the recent violence, Burma's President Thein Sein has announced a state of emergency in the western state of Rakhine. A state of emergency essentially allows the military to take over administrative control of the region. President Thein Sein said the violence could put the country's moves towards democracy in danger. If we put racial and religious issues at the forefront, if we put the never-ending hatred, desire for revenge, and anarchic actions at the forefront, and if we continue to retaliate and terrorize and kill each other, there's a danger that the troubles could multiply and move beyond Rakhine. If this happens, the general public should be aware that the country's stability and peace, democratization process, and development, which are only in transition right now, could be severely affected and much would be lost. Again, more refugees try to find safe passage to Bangladesh the following day. Set adrift in rickety boats, hundreds of Muslim Rohingyas tried to flee the Myanmar town of Sidway after their homes were burnt to the ground. Bangladesh's foreign minister would not take them in. Instead, these boats containing mainly women and children were detained by the Coast Guard and pushed back to the country that has now also rejected them. And now, let's take a look at a virtually stateless people in the midst of a turbulent conflict. The Rohingya are a Muslim ethnic minority living in northern Arakan state in western Myanmar. They face religious discrimination at the hands of Myanmar's military regime, which does not recognize the Rohingya as citizens of Myanmar. The regime does not consider the Rohingya people as one of 135 legally recognized ethnic minority groups in Myanmar, leaving the Rohingya stateless, homeless, and rightless. The first Rohingya people arrived in Myanmar as early as 7th century. These early migrants were known to be Arab sailors and merchants who traveled to Myanmar for economic pursuits. These Muslim settlers came to Burma in a total of 3 waves, from 7th to 13th century, in the 15th century, and from 1826 onward throughout the British colonial rule. Today, this day, Myanmar's military regime maintains that the Rohingya immigrated to Myanmar from India while under British colonial rule, flagrantly omitting their earlier arrivals and settlements in the region. With time, these Muslim settlers married into the local culture and made permanent settlements in western region of Myanmar. Today, Rohingya Muslims constitute 1/3 of the total population of Arakan state, and the rest belongs to Buddhist Arakanese. As peace in the region seems unlikely in the immediate future, what is to become of these displaced people, no longer wanted or accepted in their homeland, and refused asylum in the neighboring country? Without peace talks or foreign intervention, it seems very bleak future for this group of now castaways. And that wraps up today's episode for World Horizons. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time as we will bring you the latest story and story that matter to you right here in World Horizons. And วิจิตราดวงดี สวัสดีค่ะ